Hello everyone, welcome back to another Black Clover mobile video. My name is Equality, and today I have for you a complete beginner's guide for the game. There are probably other YouTubers out there who already made videos on this, but I wanted to still do my version of it because I felt like it was important to at least feature something like this on my channel if I want to cover this game. But first, I want to give a little overview of what I will be talking about today. Everything that I will be talking about will be sorted into chapters, as well as logically as here on YouTube. First, I would like to give you some general information about the game. Then I would like to go over everything that has to do with game modes. Then everything that is revolving around characters, or mages. And last but not least, I would like to talk about other modes, events, and etc. First of all, there are technically 6 different currencies in the game. There is your typical stamina, gold, and then you have black crystals, which is more or less your paid currency. Then you also have PvP tickets that we will be going over later. And we also have these story tickets that we will also be going over later. And then there are also summoning tickets. Summoning tickets you will use to summon for characters, like the name says, and these can be purchased by black crystals and gained as rewards from several different missions. So knowing this, black crystals and summoning tickets are going to be your most sought after from all of these. This is what the overworld looks like. Here you will be able to access different menus, like for example your inventory, the summoning screen, the shop, and your mages. You can also get to the hideout from here. And if you look to the top right, you can access your mailbox, the chat, and this Clover menu, which will open a bunch of other things to press. And from there you will find pretty much everything else that you could be looking for. Let's go over the game modes first. First and most important, we have the story mode that you will find here to the top. In the story mode, you will be able to go through the story of Black Clover and fight through multiple stages like this one with the characters that you were able to get. And sometimes you're also able to try out some characters that are relevant in the story, and then you'll also sometimes be fighting bosses that are relevant to the story. So this is like the main game mode, and it is structured into different chapters that are all according to the anime or manga as well. And by finishing a chapter, you will also be getting a lot of crystals, and also throughout the stages you will be getting a lot of black crystals, and as we know, those are the most important thing, so you want to get through the story as quick as possible. These chapters will also be updated every once in a while with an update, and it will progress through the story of Black Clover further and further. Next up, we have submissions. Submissions are right under the normal story mode, and they revolve around doing quests for different characters that are living inside of these city parts that you can walk around. Usually those quests consist of either having to go somewhere and pick up an item for them and bring it back to them, or having to kill some kind of monster for them, and then they reward you with a small amount, but still with black crystals as well. So finishing those missions is also a good thing to do, maybe if you have some time to spare. And most of the time you don't even have to do a lot, you just click on this button and the character will walk to the designated area by himself. And then you will have this overview of different characters and missions that you still have to accomplish to finish them all. Next up, we have this timed gold event. It is called King Woof, and it only appears 2 times every day at around 11 AM and 7 PM EST. So maybe try to check into the game at that time if that is possible for you, because this timed activity can give you a lot of gold very quickly. A few tips that I can give you is try to either kill them as quick as possible or stun them, keep them off from what they're doing, because some of those enemies, they like to flee from the battle very quickly. The ones that are more likely to do that are the ones that are from the healer, debuffer, or supporter type, so make sure to target those first when you kill them. Next, I would like to talk about PvP and PvP rewards. The PvP screen can be accessed through the arena button, and it will bring you to this arena screen where you can see 3 teams of other players that you can fight. Sadly, this is not real-time PvP, it is just a CPU battle, like all the other battles as well, but the teams are set up by real players, so it could be that you have to fight some very strong enemies here. Then, besides that, you also have the arena info button, where you can find information about your win rate, season rank, match history, and also the league info, where you can see your current rank and also collect several entry rewards, and you can also see your weekly rewards for being on that rank. So you should try to aim for the highest rank possible to at least collect the entry rewards once, and then stay as high as possible to increase your weekly rewards as well. Then there's also the arena shop, where you can use the currency that you earn every arena season to purchase different things, like for example gear boxes and different gear. And then there's also the free refresh button that, if pressed, it will reset all 3 of your enemies in case you are facing enemies that you feel like you cannot beat or actually can't beat, so that you can just keep on climbing. After you press the free refresh button, it will take 5 minutes until you can refresh again, or you can pay some gold to refresh. The higher you get, the more gold this will cost, up to, in the highest ranks, it will even cost black crystals, where then I probably would not recommend doing that anymore, because I don't think personally it is worth to spend on that. Next, I would like to talk about the limited challenges. The limited challenges can be accessed through the challenge button and then clicking limited challenges to the right. When you enter this screen, you will most likely see either 3 or 4 panels at the same time. The 3 panels to the right are missions that give you resources like gold, XP, gear upgrade materials, gears, etc. And the one to the left is usually a special episode or special mode that is usually focused around a part of the story that has not been further elaborated. And you should try to do all 3 of your attempts every day on this, because through this mode you can receive some SSR Shards, which are going to be very important later on to upgrade your mages, but I will elaborate on that further later. And you can also increase your score, which in the end will give you better rewards at the end of the season. And if you're interested in seeing what is happening at the moment and for how long, you can also press this view schedule button, and it will tell you which limited challenges we're having at the moment and for how long they will be, and also the accessibility. And if you want to know even more, then you can also go to the forum and you can read what else is going to come. There are only 2 modes left, which is the Hall of Memories and the Hall of Illusions. Both can be accessed by pressing the challenge button, followed by pressing normal challenges. And in here you will see both of them to the right. First, we have Memory Hall. In Memory Hall, you can fight past bosses from the story. And for doing this, you will have to use these Memory Hall tickets. You will have 6 of them in total. After using them, they will come back after some time. It will take about 3 hours for 1 ticket to come back. You can also purchase them with black crystals, but I would not recommend doing that. This is also a great way of achieving SSR Shards, even though the drop rate is quite low, so getting them is quite rare, but there's still a chance of getting them. And at the same time, you will also be farming some city or town currency that you can use to buy things from the different shops in the different areas, which can also be quite important because you can get some very important things there that I will explain later on. You might be wondering why I have not talked about these modes to the left yet, but don't worry, they will be important now when I'm starting to talk about the characters, which is the next thing we're gonna get to. Like I mentioned before, you can access your mages by pressing the mages button in your home screen. This will open a menu where you can see an overview of all of your mages and their stats, as well as their skills, an option to preview their skills, and a couple other options here as well. First off, we have the level up button. When you're clicking this, you can give the character XP material to level them up. How can you get those XP materials? In the home screen under challenge, and then normal challenges, to the very top left, you will have the evergreen forest where you can get mage XP. Here, you can just generally farm XP for all of your mages. This doesn't require having any special team. Next, we have the promote button. In the promote button, you can basically upgrade your mage to the next rank. It goes from rare to super rare to super rare to ultra rare, all the way up to legendary rare. So legendary rare is the highest rank that you can get to. As you can see here, promoting your mage does not only cost gold, but it also requires your mage to be on a certain bond level. How can you increase those bond levels, you're asking? Same as with XP. In your home screen, you go to challenge and normal challenges. And next to the mage XP, to the right, to the top right, you will see the bond patrol, where you can farm bond XP. Here, it will give you a list of different bond patrol stages. There's always 2 bond stages throughout every world that you can visit. One that usually gives materials for crafting different items, and the other one giving ingredients for cooking. So for the beginning, I would suggest you to go to the highest one that you're able to clear that still gives you ingredients for cooking food, that also ups the bond gained from doing those stages. So for example, for me, it would be in World 2, the first stage, the dungeon distorted area, because this dungeon still drops the ingredients needed for making the food needed to receive more bond XP from this stage, while also finishing this stage and upping the bond of the mages that I do the stage with. So I am increasing the bond with those mages. At the same time, I am getting ingredients to cook more food that I can then use again to increase the bond while doing those stages. I'm sorry if that was a little confusing. Once you get your bond level up with your mage, you can get them all the way to LR. But not only that, but increasing the bond with your character. For every bond level, it gives you a different reward, which also includes SSR Shards and black crystals, and especially past bond level 10, it will just be black crystals, so try to get that bond level up as quick as possible as well. Also in this screen, you will be able to read a little bit about the mage's backstory and some general information about them, and if you click on send gift, there is different gifts that you can give to your mage to also increase the bond. There's this general gift package that increases the bond by a little bit, and then there are these type specific bond packages, and these ones you will be able to buy from the shops in the cities that I explained to you before that you will unlock, that you can collect currency for by doing the Hall of Memory, and you can then buy these boxes that will further increase the bond of your mage as well, without having to do bond stages at all. Next up, we have the skills. By entering the skills page, you will see all of the skills of your mage as well as the combined attack, or if they have a united attack as well, and you will be also able to see the passives of that character, both the one that you will unlock through leveling them up or ranking them up, and the one that you will be unlocking with dupes, which we're also getting to again in a bit. For the skills, if you click on them, you will see that you will be able to upgrade them as well. To farm the upgrade material used for that, you either do the bond stages where you can unlock them as rewards for clearing them the first time, or you can also buy them from the stores in each town, and you can also get them from the squad shop. Achieving these materials can be quite hard in the beginning. That's why I would suggest to be very careful which skills you invest these on. Which ones you should prioritize always depends on the character themselves. You can check the skill and see what gets upgraded when you level the skill up. Usually, I would always go for the skill first, where when you upgrade them, it also upgrades the effect or the chance of the effect applying, if they have an effect. And for example, attacker characters that focus on attack, I would go for the skill that you would use the most. I will discuss this for a couple characters in more detailed character guides later on as well. And for skill pages, there are two general skill pages that are pretty good to use for almost every character. That is Breath of Fire and Breath of Darkness. You will receive one Breath of Darkness in the beginning of the game as well. Then there's also the Moonlight Necklace, which can be quite good for defenders, and the Adventurer's Journal for characters that revolve around HP. Furthermore, you can check the Pridewind website, where you can find even more suggestions for even lower rarity skill pages that you can use on almost every character. Generally, Sea Serpent's Pride and Sharp Eye are pretty good skill pages to use for every attacker character. Senior's Dignity works well on debuffers. False Confidence and Loyal Sister being really good for defenders. Crimson She-Leopard and Meat Enthusiast can be really good for healers. And last but not least, Valtos, Finral's, and Vanessa's skill pages are all three really good skill pages to use for your supporters. And as a little extra, the Mysterious Ancient Book is, in my opinion, probably the best SR page that you can have, because it flat out gives increased damage to any of your characters. That was pretty much everything on skills, so let's continue with gear. Gear can be farmed also in the normal challenges tab under the dungeon, and from here it starts to get a little bit more complicated. From here, the levels that we are beating in these modes are split up into three different categories. We have red, blue, and green, meaning that the enemies in those levels will only be that exact color. So what you will want to do to fight these the most efficiently is by making mono-colored teams, meaning, for example, if you want to do the red dungeon, you will want to have a full blue team, because then that counters the enemies the most, and you will receive the least damage from the enemies as well. Especially with the gear dungeon, this is most important, because you will want to farm gear as efficient as possible, since this is going to be one of the most important things later on, and something that you will be spending most of your time on, because farming the highest rarity gear is very, very difficult. Yes, you heard correct. Gears also come in different rarities, from R all the way up to LR gear, and obviously you will want to have the highest rarity one. And then not just that, there's different sets of gear. So for example, we have an attack set and a defense set and a HP set, and so on and so on. The best gear that you can farm, even in the beginning, is the ones that you get from the red dungeon, because it includes the attack one and the speed one. For me personally, I would like to view the attack, defense, HP, and speed set as the four most basic ones that you will need for most of your characters. And then there's also crit rate, crit damage, and penetration, which are also quite important. And then there's two more that are a bit less important, which is the crit defense and the accuracy one. And then also from all of these gear types, except for the accuracy one, there's also a special golden type of those that increase the effect that they give even more. So obviously you will be wanting to get the golden version of those gears as well. The problem with this is, first of all, the rates for good gear is very low, and then for the golden gear you will have to reach at least level 13, preferably even level 15, and because you don't want to be sitting there having to do everything manually, you will want to have a team that can do most of the work for you so you can auto it. To find out which team is the best possible to run for every dungeon, you can also check out the website for guides. Like I said, the most important is the red dungeon, meaning you need a mono blue team. So in my opinion, and this is also what the website is going to tell you, the best characters to run in the beginning would be Lotus and Mars, which in my other video about rerolling I already said that those are the best characters to go for in the beginning. You want to run those two in your team as well. Then you will want to have a blue healer, which the only one that we currently have is blue Charmy, and she is an SR character, so this is the best healer option that you have at the moment. And then of course you will also want to run a blue attacker. The best SSR option at the moment is blue Yami, but personally I don't think he's that great of a character. He is more important for PvP instead of PvE, so you can also run Solid or Gauche instead. Those are both SR characters, so fairly easy to get. And then you will have a pretty decent team to auto this stage. And then on top of running these stages, I would also suggest to put food that will increase the rate for getting better gear, which you can also cook in the cooking menu that I will also be going over later again. That's pretty much all for farming gear. Now let's get to equipping gear. So let's say you have a couple of SSR, LR, UR gears collected, and now you're thinking to equipping them to your characters. For most characters, the best way to efficiently use this grid, because you only have limited space, is to use 2 pieces of 3 different sets to equip it to them. And in these sets, you will also want to make sure that you use the correct stats according to the character that you're equipping it to, and then also maybe try to get the substats to also match as much as possible. So let's say for example you have an attacker, so obviously you will want to run a 2-piece attack set. You take the big one that has attack or magic attack depending on the character, and you take the small piece of the attack set also with attack or magic attack. Then you would also want to give them a 2-piece set of speed, because speed is never a wrong thing to do. And then also depending on the stats of the character, you might want to give them a 2-piece of crit damage or a 2-piece of crit rate to make them even stronger. And then most likely you will have a big space left, and for that you can just use 1 piece of gear of any set that you have left that matches this character's type. So for example, I don't know, if you have a crit defense piece that has attack but is LR, you can still use that on one of these characters. For more detailed information on gear, you can also check out the website. They have a really handy Excel spreadsheet prepared for you guys, so you can check pretty much every character that you help with, or you can check out my future guides on specific characters that I will have up soon in the future. Whew, that's quite a lot, right? And that's not even all. After you equip the gear, you can click on the gear and you will see a couple options popping up. When you click on info and on growth, you will have 2 options available. You can level them up and you can enchant them. When you click on upgrade, you will have these blue shards that you can invest to upgrade the gear, and every 4 levels of that gear it will unlock another little stat boost that increases your character's stats, and it just increases the amount of attack, defense, etc. from that gear in general, which is even better. After you did that and unlocked a substat from that gear, you can go back to enchant, and here you can use these little red crystals to even further increase that substat. Then apart from normal gear, there's also accessories, which are a little harder to unlock. You have to go to Vanessa to either craft them, or you can get them through the limited time dungeon as well. But apart from that, these work exactly the same as gear, so you equip the ones that match to your character, and then you upgrade them as usual. That was a lot. Luckily, we are done with gear now, so we're continuing with the enhance function. When you click on enhance, you will be able to see the enhancement level of that mage. The enhancement level is basically the amount of dupes that you already received of that mage, and by receiving dupes, you can increase the enhancement level up to level 5. With enhancement level 2, every mage unlocks another passive ability that will then permanently be unlocked and can be upgraded at level 5. And with each enhancement level, your basic stats of that mage will also be increased. To enhance your character, you have to use either a normal dupe of that character, so if you pull them again, or you can also use a universal dupe that you can get throughout several events and other missions and activities that I will explain later on, and some gold as well. When you click view enhancement level, you can also see when the passive gets unlocked, what it does, and how it upgrades at level 5. That's it for enhancement, so let's continue with talents. When you click the talents button, you will enter this talents tab where you can see a bunch of hexagons. In the beginning, the first time you click on this, it will also explain to you what to do. But here again, this is split up into attack, defense, and support talents. Every category has 6 different talents for you to choose from, and you can unlock them one by one, which requires you to have these little talent seeds. They come in 3 different varieties, and you're able to farm them in their specific stage and in a limited time challenge as well. What I forgot to mention before, there's also a stage where you can farm the gear enchantment materials, and then under that there is the talent seed stage where you can farm the talent seeds. Both of these stages also require you to have mono teams, since the enemies will also be ordered into red, blue, and green. But same as the gear stages, you can farm these 2 things the exact same way. So to unlock one of these talents, you always need 20 normal seeds and 10 rare seeds of that color. If you have that, then you can unlock these, but be aware that you can only have 2 of them active at the same time. To change them, you have to spin on this wheel, so you can only ever have 2 of them active that are next to each other. After you have all of them unlocked, you will unlock an additional carved stone slot where you can insert a carved stone, which in return will give you another little stat boost, like for example more crit rate or flat out magic attack or attack. And then there's bond. I already talked about bond a bit before, but there's one more thing that is very important to know that I forgot to mention. When you promote your mage for the first time, it requires you to have SSR Shards, 4 of them to be exact. With every SSR mage that you have, you can get 2 of those SSR Shards just through bond rewards. Another way to get those, which I suggest you to do every month, is to go into the shop, and there under the category mage pieces and growth, you will find these shared mage pieces that you can buy with lesser rarity mage pieces. And I suggest you to buy all of these SSR Shards whenever you're able to, because these reset every season and then you can buy them again, because they're just very useful to have. Still, you might not be having a lot of these at all times, so make sure to first use them on your higher prioritized characters. And then the last thing that each character has is the costume menu, where you can pick for each character whichever costume you prefer. You can unlock costumes through different events, and also through bond, and sometimes you can even buy them in the shop. And that's pretty much it for the character section, so now I want to talk about some other modes that I have not yet touched. Starting with summoning. The summoning window can be accessed through pressing the summon button in your home screen, and it will bring you to the summon screen. Here you will be seeing a couple of banners. The top one usually being either the seasonal rate up summon or the current character rate up summon that got released with that season. These things usually change during the beginning of a season and mid-season. So in the beginning of the season, there will be the seasonal characters, and during mid-season, there will be the other rate up characters. Then currently, we also have this skill page summon rate up. I don't think this will stay at all times, but this could be there also sometimes. And then we have the standard summon, which is just your usual summon that will stay there at all times and will be able to summon on every time. I personally would not recommend you to ever summon on the standard banner, because all of the characters that are in the standard summon are always in the other banners as well. And then also for the rate up summons of the new characters, sometimes I would not suggest you to pull on those, because those also usually get added to the general pool after their banner leaves. So at all times, I would mainly suggest you to pull on the seasonal banner, because those are the rarest characters that you can have. Once they leave, they will not be coming back for a long time, and you will still have the chance to pull every other rate up character in later seasons as well. But of course, if there is ever a good character in a rate up summon, you can also go for that one as well. And then last but not least, at the very bottom, we have the friendship summon. To do friendship summons, you use these friendship coins that you get through sending your friends these little coins through a gift, and when they send you some back, that way you will get friendship coins, or by using their mages in a battle, that will also give you friendship coins, and then you can use them for your friendship summons. And this friendship summon will only give you skill pages, mainly R and SR skill pages, but there is a small chance to get SSR skill pages as well. Another small thing to note, for summoning you always need summoning tickets. If you should run out of those, you can still use your black crystals to buy them, and without any of those two, you will not be able to summon. And that's pretty much all about summoning, so let's get to another very important feature, which is the Gateway of Destiny, or how they called it here, Gateway of Reunion. Through the Gateway of Reunion, you're going to be able to get one of the seasonal characters for free. Yes, completely for free. The way you do this is, in the very beginning, they give you a free key, and you can use that to unlock the gate, and then you can pick one of the 3 seasonal characters. You will have to complete 6 different missions, and after you've finished all of those, you will receive the chosen character completely for free. You can do this once per season, and throughout the season, you will have enough time to finish all of your advanced missions to get another key so that you can do the same thing in the next season. So make sure to always finish your daily missions, because one of your advanced missions is going to be to finish daily missions, and this is what you need to unlock the key. So you will always have to do your daily mission if you want to unlock this key, which you do because you want to have a free character, right? Speaking of dailies and weeklies, this is the next thing that I want to talk about. So if you look to the right under your submission, there will be a daily button that you can press, or in the Clover menu under missions, and there you will find your daily, intermediate, and advanced missions, or how I like to call them, your daily, your weekly, and your monthly missions, because that's around the time it takes to finish all of those missions. So your dailies you should be able to finish quite quickly, and you should do them as well, because it will give you 80 black crystals in total every day, on top of some stamina and some other nice little things. Then the intermediate quests will take you about 5 days to finish, and they will also give you a couple black crystals and some SR and R coins and other very nice things. And then we have the advanced missions, which take at least 20 days to finish, and this is the biggest thing because it will give you a big amount of black crystals, 820, and it will give you a universal dupe, which, like I explained before, is very, very good to have. And of course, like I just mentioned, it will also give you a key for the gate. On top of that, the rewards of these missions are the most rewarding out of all of them. You can get some tickets, you can get some talent upgrade material, some black crystals, stamina, gold, all the good things, so make sure to finish this as quick as possible. The next thing I want to talk about is the squad. To enter the squad menu, you have to go to the hideout first, and then press the squad button. When you're entering this the first time, it will ask you if you want to join an existing squad or make your own squad. Of course, this is completely up to you what you do, but if you have the chance to join an already existing squad that is already pretty high, then I would prefer doing that, because then it will already give you some better rewards, and just better chances in general, because if you have good mages, good and active mages in your squad, then it is more likely that they will contribute to the squad and will complete certain missions for the squad, and it's just better in general. On top of that, I suggest you to check into your squad at least once every day, because that will give you a reward as well. And if you can, you should also contribute to your squad, because that will also contribute to your coins that you can use in the squad shop. Speaking of which, there is a shop in the squad where you can use these squad coins, and you can buy some things like talent upgrade materials and stamina, which is a neat little thing extra to that. And if you're the squad leader, of course, there are some other tabs that you can check at, which is the squad challenges, the boss battle, and decorate. These are not super important in the beginning, but they will be important later on once your squad has grown a bit. Here you can do certain challenges to gain even more coins and rewards for your squad, which is a nice extra as well. Then the next thing I would like to talk about are events. When you're in your home screen, to the left you will see this little gift or present icon to the left next to the mage's path. When you click on that, you will be able to see all of the news and events that are currently going on. Here there is usually some little extra challenge or game that you can do, like this dice event that is currently going on, where you can earn some couple extra rewards. And especially in the beginning, there are a couple ways here to gain a few black crystals and summoning tickets, so make sure to always check this as well. And like I just mentioned, right next to it is the mage's path. In the mage's path you also have some extra missions that are sorted into beginner, intermediate, and advanced missions that you can clear out one time and get some pretty neat rewards for that as well. Overall, some of these missions you will be doing by yourself by just playing the game. Some of them might require a little more effort to do, so make sure to check on this once in a while and make sure to finish these as well. And then the next thing right above the mage's path is the battle pass. The battle pass works like your usual battle pass in most of these games, where you have daily missions and you have seasonal missions that you can also finish, and then you will gain these little Clover points that will accumulate throughout the whole pass. When you collect enough of these points, you will level up your pass, and there's a total of 25 levels that you can get to. There is a free and a premium version to this, so the premium version you will have to pay with real money, and in the free version you get rewards every 2 levels, and in the premium version you get rewards throughout the whole pass, and most of those rewards are pretty neat. So if you're a low spender, I would actually suggest you to buy this, but only after you finish the whole pass to make sure that you get all of the rewards. So also make sure to finish all of your missions here. A neat little extra thing to know, also if you buy the premium battle pass and you finish it completely, at the end of it you will receive a seasonal skill page selection ticket, which lets you pick one skill page of one of the seasonal characters, which is a very nice extra thing. Another little thing that I forgot to mention is this Feats menu that you can access in this Clover menu as well. This is also some extra missions that you can do to gain some more black crystals and some SSR shards as well, so quite important. These missions are separated into growth, adventure, challenges, gear, and community, but most of them you will do while you're playing anyway, so you don't have to focus on this too much. So you'll just finish them on the side, but don't forget to check this once in a while. And now let's come to the thing that I kept for last, and that is the hideout. To get to the hideout from the story, you just press on this big button that says hideout, and then you will be finding yourself in the hideout of the Black Bulls. Here you can find different squad members of the Black Bulls, and you can walk up to them and talk to them. Some of them even have some nice features that you will definitely use most of the time. First, to the front right, we have Vanessa. When talking to Vanessa, you can craft accessory, disassemble accessory, craft upgrade stones, and create gear. When you are crafting accessories, make sure to go for the full set, because every other option will cost you shared mage pieces, which is not the best thing. It will be random, but it is still better than losing valuable resources. Disassembling and stone crafting is quite self-explanatory, and With gear creating, you can use your lower rarity gear to craft higher rarity gear, which is also very neat. Then walking a bit further to the left, we have Charmy. When you click on Charmy, you can cook. I already mentioned cooking a couple times before, and here you can actually do it. So Charmy has different recipes for different foods to cook, and all of these foods need different ingredients. Those ingredients you can find throughout the stages in the story, and you can farm those as well. A lot of those foods buff some very essential things, like your Yule income, character XP, bond XP, etc, etc. So make sure to always have the right food available for whatever activity you're doing. Then most of these other characters here you can only just talk to, they don't really have a certain function, but there are 2 more characters in the back that are very important, and you might not even expect that because they're so far behind and kind of hidden. But to the left you have Gordon, where you can basically disassemble skill pages that you do not need anymore. So all of the R and SR skill pages that you do not need, you can disassemble here, and he will give you these little shards. And you can use those shards in the shop under Exchange Center and Skill Page Salvage. And from there you can buy other skill page summoning tickets from those shards. The biggest thing here is the SSR skill page selection ticket. So every season or every time period that this is available, I would suggest you to buy this if you can, because you can select an SSR skill page of any of the mages from the general pool of characters, which is really huge in the beginning, I think. And then from these other shards, I would get the R to SSR ticket because the other ones don't really make a lot of sense. And then to the right next to Gordon, there is Gray. And when you talk to Gray, you will be able to convert items, meaning you can use your upgrade stones or your talent seeds, and you can either upgrade them or downgrade them to get whatever stone or seed type you need right now. This is also a very neat feature, so make sure you do not forget about this because I did a couple times before. And then that pretty much concludes almost everything for this video. The last thing that I want to go over is the settings button. When you open the Clover menu, you will see this gear to the bottom that says options next to it. If you click that, that's where your settings are. And here you can change things like sound, graphics, language to your liking. But also under the account tab, you will find your nickname, your AID, and you can copy those. And you will see how your account is linked, or if it is linked at all. And to the very bottom, you can also delete your account if that should ever be needed. But if you have your account linked already, you might have to contact them first. And yeah, that is pretty much all for this video. I hope this was informative for some people. I hope I could help people with this. And if there's anything that I forgot or did not mention, please let me know in the comments. I will address that later. And so far, I hope everyone had a nice day, evening, wherever you are in the world. And as always, stay kind, stay balanced, and keep gaming. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone.